Welcome to our shows called Why Was Drugs Traffic Important in 19th Society in Colombia and How Did It Contribute in the Corruption of Nowadays. In tonight's episode, we are going to have two special guests, Paulitos Cobañas and Martuchis Ramirez. First, we are made a document that is according to our principal topic, Inside It. First, we are going to give some objective, one general and two specifics. Then we will do a bibliographic balance for giving the context to the project, summarizing different articles from some authors to help us to contextualize the work and give an expert sense of keywords that we put. After that, we will show the theoretical framework, analyzing different articles from different authors, showing different points of view from different topics related in different ways with our topic that will help us to answer questions. Next, we are going to talk about the research method that we use in order to complete our investigation. In the case was a survey in Google Forms. For now, about that people think of the influence of the narcotraffic in our culture and in the corruption of the country. We also include some questions on like designed to the corruptions. Another research method was a map that shows the illicit drugs in Colombia territory. And finally, I interviewed to a journalist that investigation the ex-president Álvaro Uribe in order to engage our knowledge of the people through of the topic, not only research to narcotraffic. In addition, other sources we analyze like the interview and a map illustration at a representative photo. And finally, we made some conclusions that answer the question that we plan at the beginning of the document. So now tell us, Paulitos Cobañas, how do you feel?
I feel so good to stay here.
And tell us something about you.
I'm the boss of the Medellin cartel.
Okay, and Martuchis Ramirez, the same questions.
Oh, I feel a little strange, but good, because I have never been related to some drug dealer, so it feels strange. But I'm an important politician of Colombia.
Paulitos Cobañas, what can you analyze from this map?
Well, the map illustrates the departments of Colombia and shows the places where there are illicit cocaine crops. With this map, we can see the departments further from the capital and the ones that have coca cultivations, because it's very difficult for the Colombian government to get to these corners. These places are also very strategic because the national government is more interested in the places near to the capital and pays more attention to it. So the places where the cocaine is best cultivated are the places that have a jungle and it's difficult to get there. The government create strategic such as the drone or the light planes to have easier and faster access. Finally, the coca production will never end as there are more and more markets. New routes, new criminals, new organizations, and new partners. And there will be more demand for coca productions. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. And also another primary research that we used for this project was an interview in anonimatus that focused on a lawyer in their 9-year experience in the Fiscalía General de la Nación. Different questions were made as if they work on any investigation that would reveal the corruption of public officers directly related to drugs traffics, and if it was like, what evidence or witness did they have, and if that was investigation served. In that process, he was able to investigate Álvaro Uribe Vélez's politics career due to these relationships with paramilitarism by means of open sources and periodistic journalists or newspaper. According to that, the group could establish the collaboration Uribe made with the Paulitos Cabañas in the 18 years when he was the civil aeronautic director. So, Martuchis Ramirez, what can you say about this?
Well, from this investigation, we can infer and as we know, the Fiscalia created the Analysis and Context Unit to investigate those crimes that were committed against human rights. During the armed conflict in Colombia, where they were found somehow Álvaro Uribe involved in this investigation, this showed another crimes committed by him during his career, as the one supposedly made during his charge in the civil aeronautic related to Paulitos Cabañas. As we know, in that time, during the 80s epoch, narcotraffic was in the maximum apogee. At the same time, the institutional weakness grew, seen as cases as the Uribe's one. This demonstrates how politics can be affected by corruption, starting to work together and affecting the legitimacy of the public institutions that should have worked for the well-being of the people and the country.
On the other hand, we made a survey to 15 people of different ages of the Colombian context about narcotraffic and politics. The question and the results were: what can you say about the question 5 and 7, Martucci Ramirez?
Well, from these two graphics, we can see first in the graph that it can show us how 60% of the poor people have never evidenced their cases of corruption. And well, in the second question, we can see how 90% of the respondents actually consider our country is immersed in a huge manner in corruption. From this, we can infer that Colombians know how our country is affected by corruption, but only in the government and public servants and organizations from the government, but not the actions we made in our daily lives, and how we as citizens are immersed also in corruption.
And Paulitos Cabañas, what can you say about the question 6?
We analyze how more than the half of the people interviewed say that corruption is due to drug trafficking. This is thanks to different events that have occurred in the Colombian history, such as the 8,000 process that was with this money, the different elites that have been silver in campaigns, and the time of Pablo Escobar.
So, what can you say from this picture?
Well, we can see Pablo Escobar in the House of Representatives, and we know that he was already being investigated by the National Police for the alleged drug trafficking charges in that time. And this is where it is clear to us that drug trafficking has had a warning influence on the political corruption that we see nowadays in our country. An example of this is the simple fact that an alleged drug trafficker achieves parliamentary impunity and that he also can take decisions for the country.
Well, in addition, I think that well, this is an event that should never be repeated. However, we see that the justice done that quickly, and well, that what really moves the country and its officials is the money, and well, it's the narco culture imposed by Pablito Escobar. As Eligio Palacio says, another thing that we can analyze is regarding to the power that our cartels, the drug cartels, and the drugs trafficking had. Because, well, as you see, we have so much power, and we will take the decisions for the country.
To finish, what can you conclude from this interview?
Well, you were able to demonstrate how drug trafficking has had a negative impact on our culture of legality, and this has permeated the political issues in our country.
So you were also able to know the perception of the common people throughout the surveys that you say in a digital platform. And thanks to this we, or you can say that indeed corruption is closely linked with the drug trafficking, especially in
Thanks,
the 19th.
thanks for saying that. I would like to say that also based on analysis of primary sources that we showed previously, many things that happened a few years ago, but today we continue to see reflect in the corruption. You want to say something before say goodbye?
Well, I would like to say that I'm pretty grateful because I learned a lot in this interview and from your work. I wasn't related with the things that are happening with corruption and narcotraffic in our country, and in my job, I have to learn it. And I think I'm pretty grateful to learn with you.
Usted aprendió desde mí y harto.
What he said? Sorry.
Nothing. He's saying nothing.
Okay, so goodbye. Thank you for be here.
Thank you.